Hello and welcome to us about Rugby League. For a topic of discussion today, we're going to be talking about the injuries in Super League. Now, there seems to be a lot. There seemed to be a lot last season, but there seems to be more this season. It seems season on season we're getting more and more injuries. Pretty much every team has a number of players out, and I think the questions are starting to arise about why that is. And I think every club has such a good strength and conditioning team. They have all these sports scientists, and the players are looked after, and the knowledge these people have to look after the players. So I've got no doubts about what those guys are doing. So what does it actually come down to?
Well, it's a strange one. I actually did a bit of research and sort of tried to pinpoint how many injuries that every club has had so far. I mean, we're only 5 or 6 rounds in, and already I think there's only, I think you probably look at them, I think Warrington have been the best off. They've only had a couple, but every other team has had at least 6 or 7 injuries.
Now I know
already.
Fans love to know about injuries. Who's got the most injuries? If we'd have had so and so, we'd have won that game. Run us through how many of each team.
Well, again, this is just my sort of rough research, but I'd say Castleford. I think Castleford have had around 10, approximately 10, that have been out for at least a week or two. So, I know they a couple of weeks ago they had Sam Hall, young 17-year-old debuting, and had the potential of having about 5 debutants that they named from a 21-man squad.
They won that game as well.
They did win the game, against Wigan, I believe. But yeah, that's a concerning number. For 12, if you added all them up, I'm not brilliant on my maths, but 12 by 6.
Yeah.
That's a lot of players. That's a heck of a lot of players to be injured after a month and a half into the season. Like you said, what is... It's really hard as well to pinpoint the reason, because at the start of the season is when you expect players to be so fresh. They're coming off the back of a pre-season, had a bit of a rest, and should be raring to go again, but seemingly, is it down to fatigue? Are players still fatigued from the season before?
Well, I personally think that we are just playing too many games. I mean, it comes up a lot.
But even at the start of the season.
No, but we're not having a long enough pre-season to get over, like you said, the fatigue of last season. The pre-season's not long enough. You look in the NRL, the pre-season is so long. They've still not started the NRL season yet.
Yeah, they usually finish before we finish and start after we've started.
Way after we start. Like, we're starting in January now. They're 2 months later. It's crazy how many games we play, and we all know it does come down to the financial aspect of the game, the loot fixtures that the clubs need. The loot fixtures the game needs, the loot fixtures for financial gain and to get by. But what is the solution? How do we get round this? I came up with a crazy idea earlier. I think people will probably laugh at this, but I suggested if players and even maybe staff or club members or whatever, they all donated 10% of what they earn.
Don't think I go down too well with those people.
But if they donate 10% of what they earn and then all put it together, we could probably afford to play less games.
Probably.
And yeah,
it does come down to that balance of player welfare and financial stability.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and it seems as if at the minute financial stability is just edging it.
It's the players that are suffering, I think.
Yeah,
the player
that's it.
Suffering.
When we said we were going to have this chat, I did start thinking, because like I said, it is the start of the season and players are expected to be fresh and ready to go, and I think mentally a lot of them are ready to get back into it, but perhaps the bodies haven't yet recovered from the 9 months or so the year before where they've been throwing the bodies around. I mean, there's the age-old comparison, isn't there, that a hit in rugby league is like a 30 miles an hour car crash, I think is what they say, 30, 40 miles, something like that. Yeah. So you think about players doing that week in, week out, that's got to take a toll on the body.
Oh, yeah.
And are they really expected then to be able to heal that amount of contact in 2 months? Is it 2 months, I'd say? About 2 months?
Roughly. Well, for some players, I mean, for example, it's just one example, but Jackson Hastings played nearly every game last season for Salford.
Yeah.
They went all the way to the grand final. He then played every game for Great Britain, and then he starts his season at Wigan, and Adrian Lamb in that opening game was like, look, we've had him for 3 weeks. That's crazy. Your star signing who you want in the squad, to embed in the squad, to get a good pre-season behind him at his new club to settle in, has been training for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And
An
then,
elite athlete.
and then it's his first game of the season, his debut for Wigan, which is a huge occasion. And he's probably about 60% fit for it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and I don't know what the solution is. Like I mentioned, obviously, about the players, that 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fair because the players are the ones that are suffering, and
Yeah.
you just think there has to be a way around it. But it just
Would you just like, I don't know, maybe knock the season back by a month? Even just knock a month off the season, you know, so start end of February. Something like that, as
but
opposed to starting
we lose the games, don't we?
You do, but at the same time, then would you argue that the games will be of better quality because you've got players who are rested for longer, arguably then more fresh.
Yeah.
You've got a Jackson Hastings who's trained for 7 weeks instead of 3, and then you know you've got players who are at full fitness, ready to go, fresher, as opposed to still feeling the effects of the season.
No, I'm down for that, but are you suggesting we play less games by doing that? Are you suggesting we play more in a short space of time?
Possibly. I mean, the one thing that you've seen this year is we've taken away the Easter fixtures, the grueling Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Would it be feasible and would it be smart to maybe include that Easter weekend back in? You know, so we're playing 2-3 games around that sort of one weekend in that little period, for the sake of sacrificing 2, 3, 4 weeks at the start of the season.
Potentially. Now, I obviously know we get good attendances over Easter, don't we? So for one, we've lost one of those rounds that bring in good attendances, haven't we? And now we're adding that round later on in the season.
Yeah.
When we're maybe not going to get the money in that we would have.
Well, again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this season because, as we mentioned, we're already getting loads of injuries at this point in the year.
Yeah.
And that's with the Easter fixtures taken away, which is meant to improve player welfare because they're not playing as many games in that short period of time. But now, with the storms that have happened in recent weeks, teams are going to have to rearrange games. I know Leeds Huddersfield's at the end of April.
Yeah.
Again, sort of around that Easter period.
Well, Catalans is the big one because they're travelling backwards and forwards,
exactly.
and they've played 2 games less than everyone because obviously one of their games was called off, and then they were supposed to be playing Saints a week, and they've had the World Club Challenge. They're now 2 games behind, so who knows? I think the RFL actually revealed to us, funnily enough, that they're thinking long and hard about when to rearrange these games for Catalans because I don't think they're easy games neither. So
and you've got the demand of travel as well. Then
yeah.
I know it's you look at someone like Toronto, it's not the same to the same extent. You know, Catalans are they're travelling 2-3 hours tops, but still that's a big thing is that flying from country to country every week. You know, they suffer from that enough as it is, and I think their away performances show that.
Yeah.
Never mind if you're adding 2 extra trips in there in the middle. So yeah, it is a tough one. Getting back to the injuries, what could be done? I still think that shaving that extra 4 weeks off the start of the season would be the smartest idea. That then gives players an extended break, even if they've been on international duty.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, I don't think putting the season back 4 weeks will have a massive impact in terms of pleasing the fans and revenue if we sort of supplement for those games further down the line.
Yeah.
I'd maybe 1 or 2 in.
I think that's the way to go. I mean, you look at the NRL, and for the World Cup Challenge, the Roosters rested Boyd Cordner.
Exactly.
They play a lot less games than us, and they're worried about him playing too many games.
Exactly.
So it just underlines it. Well, I think it does make sense to do that. I think I don't know whether it's going to happen, but we'll find out. Hopefully, we won't see as many injuries over the next few weeks.
It's got to be addressed, I think, though. Something's got to be done about it because we can't be going through season after season with teams missing 8-9 players almost every week.
Yeah,
it's just not feasible.
Yeah,
it's not feasible. It's not good for clubs or fans or players.
I think player welfare has to be paramount, guys.
I don't.
Let us know what you think. What could be done to stop this ongoing problem we seem to have in the game. Please let us know below. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.